stand up and let's welcome our speaker today. Jeff, come on up, my man. Thank you.
Good morning. Hi. Good morning. Wow. I was wondering if it was going to be a good morning after seeing some of you guys at the bar last night. You know how that goes sometimes, but hopefully you're enjoying yourself. Listen, being bulletproof in this market is really a difficult task. And we've seen a lot of shifts happening. And I want to be able to take you guys just down the path to maybe think a little bit differently, rethink your business, rethink the way we're doing things, and to be able to shift and pivot this business so that you create growth no matter what market you're in. So today's strategy is all about sales and marketing. My breakout's at 3 o'clock. It's going to be more tactical than this session, but I have to open some eyes because too many of us are getting caught up in some of the weeds of the market. Too many of us are getting caught up in the media of the market. And let's face it, for those that have been in the business a long time, the market will always change, right? To me, it's just a market. So it's not about interest rates, it's not about this, but a couple of things I have to prepare you for is how are we going to try and continue to scale and grow when markets change? And also, how many of you are doing business with real estate agents, or at least as a referral partner? Yeah. Right, of course. What are we going to do with the 20 or 25% of them that leave the business because they don't know how to do the business? Right, some of that referral partners. So we've got to find ways to not supplement, but scale past that. So I want to tell you a little bit where it started for me, because one of my strongest, most powerful lessons to me in the sales arena was in 1988. Right, it goes back a ways. I was a 19-year-old little sassy pants thinking I wanted to be a real estate guru, and I got my real estate license. 1988 was a bit different, right? No fax machines, nothing. Like we just had the MLS book. How many of you are all back in the real estate world back then, right? Okay. But here's what happens. Sometimes having a mentor or someone that guides you along the right way is the most valuable thing you can have. And when I first started at 19, I got hired by Century 21 in my market, that beautiful gold jacket. I wore it proudly, but here's what happened. My broker took me under his wing. He saw that little twinkle in my eye and said, I want to teach you how to do this business. He says, come in on Saturday morning after you get all your training done and learn the MLS. Come on Saturday. I want to help you, mold you a little bit and kind of give you some direction. So I go in on Saturday, and at 9 o'clock, he's got his MLS sheets, his tax records out, and he said for the next couple hours, I'm going to give you a couple strips, and I want you to go out to a 4-block area that he defined for me as my farm area, and I want you to knock on every door for 2 hours. I'm going to tell you what to say and tell you how to do it. I said, okay, I'll do whatever you say. Now, quite frankly, I was scared to death. Talking to strangers, right? I was 19, I looked really young, and as a matter of fact, I said, I'll do it. So I go down and get out of the car. I'm doing my thing, and by the way, at 19, with a gold jacket, it was mustard gold back then. It looked like Doogie Howser walking down the street like a beacon with this gold thing on. But that's what we had. We had a brand. That's all we had, right? So I did it. I get back to the office. He says, how'd you do it? So I talked to a couple people. I got one guy that said he might be selling sometime in the spring. Another said that he's not selling, but he has a neighbor that might be. He'll pass along the information. The rest was a bunch of not so good calls. So he says, come with me, come with me. So I go with him, and he says, I want you to look in the front office. And in the front office, there were 2 gentlemen, I'll never forget them, Bob and Richard. And they were anchored at the desk doing uptime, if you remember those days. Sitting there, waiting for the phone to ring. And he says, what do you see? And I said, I don't know, I see you guys playing solitaire, I see one guy doing a crossword puzzle. And I said, so what does that mean? Should I be doing that? And he's like, you might have to, but what do you see? And I said, I see nothing. Because you know what they're doing? They're waiting for the phone to ring. I said, well, what do you mean waiting? He goes, well, if a lead comes in, they get the lead. I said, well, that sounds okay. He goes, but I said, well, what if it doesn't ring? He's like, that's my point. What if it doesn't ring? If it doesn't ring, no business. So I just looked at him just out of common sense and said, well, how the hell am I supposed to run a business waiting for something to happen like that? Waiting for the phone to ring, and if it didn't ring, now what? And he just looked at me and said, you get it. Now let's move forward. He goes, you never wait for business to happen. Always go find it. I'll teach you how to find it. You'll always have a career. He goes, I'm not saying that they won't get leads. They're the bonus points. So ever since that day, no matter what sales role I was in, I ran brokerages, I ran teams, I had the fortune, I was working for an executive for a large franchise brand. We had about 800 offices. Everything always evolved back to sales. So I said, well, my number one thing is I've always got to learn to be proactive. And I run into so many people that take a reactive approach. When I ask most real estate agents across the country, and self-admittedly, I'll say, in general, real estate agents at large, are you running your business reactive or proactive? 98% of them will admit reactively. Which tells you what? They're not hunting the business, which means there's going to be a lot of fallout in the business. But I take that to a lot of different industries, because when I go down the path and start to look at, what business are we really in? Like when people tell me, hey, I'm in the real estate business, I have to look at it differently. I'm going to say to them, listen, I don't believe you're in the real estate business. Real estate's the product, right? The business is people that you need to create like and trust with so that they can hire you to sell their home. So I said, you're not in that business. When I look at a lot of different businesses as to what they're in, sales and marketing always comes to the top. So it's a different mindset. So when I tell real estate agents, your main job isn't to sit and look at homes. I mean, that's part of the core of what you do. You have to do it really well. But your number one thing you better do is go find new people to create relationships with. If you stop doing that, if you stop, it stops. So then I said, okay, well, let me take this outside, because I work with title companies, I work with loan officers, and I started to see the same common problem trending. Loan officers waiting to talk to realtors. Waiting. Wait for realtors? They're as fickle as anybody. Like, I've been one of them. I saw the license. I know what real estate agents are like. I know what y'all think sometimes. Crazy. Lots of crazy going on in real estate, right? Right? So you got to learn how to deal with crazy sometimes. But take any business and break it down. If you're in the dentistry business, you're a dentist. You can be the best dentist, have the best tools, have the best technology, have the best staff, and have the best brand behind you. If no one calls or shows up in your door, you have no business. So how important is that dentistry at that particular moment? You have to be a master of your craft, but without that frontline sale, it's useless. How many of you know the famous quote, master of all trades? Right. Does anybody know the ending to that? How it flows? There's a two-part phase to that, right? Does anybody know the whole trade? The whole jack of all trades, master of none. Most often looked at as powerful as one. So it really means that yes, the jack of all trades. You guys are jack of all trades, but also looking at you have to be skilled in other areas. So when I look at things from your perspective and any business perspective, I look at it differently. I would say this, that if the number one thing for my business means I need to have somebody to work with as a home inspection company, I can be the best at what I do, have the best skill. And that's what you guys, now I know some of you didn't sign up to say I wanted to be in sales or marketing, not the gift of everybody. But without it, we don't tend to have our business and we can't scale and grow. So I look at it this way. I would almost say we are a sales and marketing company that happens to be excellent in the home inspection business. Dentistry. I'm in a sales and marketing business that happens to be an expert in the dental world. The loan officer. Now you might say, Jeff, I don't know, I didn't sign up for this stuff. Like I don't understand that business model. And while you don't have to, you need to at least have the team and the knowledge and mindset to generate that business. When I look at top producers in our industry in sales, especially in real estate, I put 5 on stage at an event probably about 3 weeks ago. Top producers in their market, all sharing what they did really well. And there are some that are sitting there looking in the audience saying, what do they have that I don't? How did they do 50 million? I couldn't do 5. And of course, all the excuses will flow. Oh, they must be getting gifted leads, or their broker's feeding them something, or they're getting this or that. The only thing they focused on was finding new business. The real estate stuff just happened. They were networkers, they were community-based, they knew everybody, they worked every day finding new people, every day, all over. Because the people that live in the homes, 99% of people live in homes, rent homes, or know somebody's going to be selling a home, which then in turn transaction, which turns into a transaction for you, right? I've probably been on thousands of home inspections throughout my career selling, and we took a whole bunch of polls and stuff to share with you today also about what people think about why they hire and don't hire. But I really want you to focus today, if anything, is nothing's going to happen without a sale. And we've got to find ways to be proactive in finding that business. So if I go down the path of like, okay, now what do we actually sell? What we sell is a whole different thing. Because I've been in the brokerage room, in the office, when home inspectors, loan officers, title reps have come into my door, and most have had the same thing to say. Typical loan officer. And then I'll get to your business. Hey, Jeff, you the owner? Yeah, I'm the owner. I'd like to come to one of your office meetings and talk to your agents. About what? Now, he's a loan officer. I know what it's about. But he's probably the third one that's walked in that week. So, well, you know, we have the best rates, and I want to talk to you about our banking, and we underwrite in-house, and we have the best service, and we have this. Like, that's awesome. But the other three said the same exact thing. Nothing's different. And then the title rep. How many of you know people just in the title business and all in your markets? The most unsexy business in the world. There's nothing different about title. Some people don't even know what it is. They just have to have it, but the title from you is the same title from you. So imagine what that sales pitch looks like. They want to talk to me, they bring me donuts, just what I need. They bring me more coffee, plenty of coffee. So creating sales opportunities. So the one thing I had to change is, not one person ever walked in my door and said to me, hey Jeff, listen, we're in the home inspection business, and while we do home inspection really well, it's what we do. One of the things we specialize in though is working with brokers like yourself to help you grow and scale your business in partnership, help your agents maybe do more transactions, and help you maybe work on some new systems to help your brokerage grow. Would that be something of interest? Now, I don't care if it was a title rep, a loan officer, or a home inspector that said that. But some of you might think, oh, how the hell would I do that? Here's where the model gets created, is we have to understand is what they really need help with. Right? I don't need, no disrespect, you guys are really masterful at what you do. I don't talk your language. But what I need to know is, how can you help me? Now, of course you can help me by doing the job really well, and I have some strategies of things of what not to do. But truthfully, if you want to get the attention of me, we've got to think like me. And we've got to think like them. So take the loan officer model for a second. Loan officers don't know how to talk to realtors. They don't know their language. That's okay. But if they found a partner that can, and instead of having to come into my office and beat the doors down and not get the appointment, what if they came in and got the appointment and I put them in front of 50, 60 people with a partner that could talk their language? Now all I have to do is create relationships. Because you know you have those clients. When they like and trust you, you know that client. Think about a client that likes and trusts you. They love you. If you went into a different business model, would they follow you? Would they take you, would they buy from you somewhere else because they loved and liked you and trusted you? They would. They'd follow you anywhere. That's all we have to focus on, is how do we do that in addition to doing what you do really well, right? So when we talk about what you sell, we have to talk about in the fact of what is the end result. So if I was asking home inspection, what do we sell? Some might say services, quick time frame, quick turnaround, great contracts, great experience. But if I was the consumer, which is your real client, I think of peace of mind. Think about it, I'm buying one of the largest assets I'm ever going to invest in, and I'm relying on you to help protect me. You're giving me protection. You're giving me advice to protect my investment. Because I think I'm spending 400 grand, but by the time you're done, you're telling me that I might need 100 into it. You're not telling me the number. You're giving me the advice of what's wrong that might cost me the number. But you're giving me peace of mind also so that I can move forward in a transaction. And yet, when I see people coming in with their marketing, none of the marketing says that. It says, we do roofs and environmental and, septics and oil and remediation and radon, and like that's all the stuff you do, but it's not why you do it. Right? So we gotta stop, not saying that's not important, but somewhere the message has to be the why behind it. Now, the why behind your consumer customer of peace of mind is different than the marketing you would find to a real estate agent. What are the 2 or 3 things a real estate agent cares about? Not a deal killer, and you can't, we'll have to find, there's creative words. We don't want to kill deals. They need timeliness. They need good communication. So when we market to them, we have to make sure we're giving them what they need versus just what you do. Right? I see a lot of what we do, not so much of how it's going to help me. So I want you to rethink marketing a little bit, rethink the sales process a little bit, and understand that it has to be different for each unique customer. Right? And I'm going to go outside the box again. Let me go back to my dentistry. How many of you love the dentist? You love them? Wow. Very rare. You must have really good teeth. I fear the dentist. But think about it. If the dentist told me all the stuff and all the tools he used and all the drills and bits and tech, what do I really want to hear? It's going to be pain-free. They're going to make me feel good. I won't feel a thing. The price, we have a way to work with you on price. They're going to make me feel good. I won't feel pain. They have to serve me in that mentality. So from a home inspection world, I really want you to rethink, when you look at marketing, anything you put out to that client, ask yourself this: is this going to be the end result that they're going to feel? And if it's not, rethink it, right? Rethink the words. Because that's the way people, when I say the word sales, I don't mean like selling like car dealership sales, like going out and closing, because no one likes any of that. What I'm talking about is selling so that they simply have confidence in you, they believe in you, and they trust that you're going to get the job done right to make them feel good. That's selling without having to actually sell. Got it? Right? So a couple little nuggets there. Now I have this double funnel strategy I like to use to just break down some of the strategy. Now, for the record, anything I have up here on slides, you're going to get copies of, so don't sweat it. You're welcome to take pictures, but everything I have today and in my 3 o'clock breakout, everything you'll have in PDF format, just so you have everything today. Just take good notes. So my double funnel. The top of the funnel is where we tend to lack. We tend to lack with that proactive. And it happens in all industries. Everyone that we coach and train, I will ask the question: how many of you have a proactive approach every day in your calendar to go find new business? And it's like crickets. Matter of fact, I can tell the success of most people in sales by looking at their calendar. I live by the calendar, because here's why. I have this quote that I use quite often. We lose money in the gaps of our calendar. And think about it. Now, I know sometimes you're out doing inspections, it's either hot, it's cold, you're working in all conditions, you're in crawl spaces, some of your team's out there, some of you might be the leaders of it, but this is what's happening. A lot of chaos, time delays. But what do you do when you have that hour and a half in between? What do you do when you have that 2-hour window between the next appointment? It's easy to fill with stuff, lots of stuff. We can be busy emailing, my phone goes, all good. But how much of that can you commit? What if you took 30 minutes a day in that to find new business, talk to new people, call 5 more people, find a way to text somebody new, have a marketing plan together that you can send to somebody that may get their attention? Because you have to ask yourself, the people that you work with may already have a home inspector person they love already. We all do. Everyone knows a realtor already, everyone knows a loan officer already. Who cares? When do they need a new one? Any given time of the day. When they're not available, when they don't show up, when they screw it up, when they don't deliver on promise. So you need to be proactive all the time, because they need you when they need you. And you can earn that business way quicker. But if you're not present, you're not in front of them, they don't know who to call. You're not even in the game. So here's the funnel. Let's break it down. So the sales and marketing is at the top. Would you agree now that nothing happens without a sale? Okay, we have to agree to that, right? Because that's kind of the start of everything. Then you have to go through the conversion of it, meaning you got the call, but now you got to make sure they're actually going to book you. They may have questions. They may ask you about pricing. They may ask you about timing. So you actually have to convert it. And then you got to do the work. And you got to deliver the work, right? That's the simple process of what you do. But it all starts at the top of the funnel. How many of you really, truthfully, honestly, focus at the top of the funnel? Your job is mainly in the executing, right? How much focus is at the top? And how are we going to shift that mindset? Because I thrive on people growing. I thrive on watching people go from here to here, and from this amount of sales to this amount of sales. And it's no magic pill overnight, I promise. But it's consistency and knowing what to do, how to do it, what to say. This is a part of the funnel I think we fail at a lot. When I say we, industry, not you in the room. The follow-up and thank you, right? I'm going to say it nicely. Real estate agents are very emotional people. Would you agree? Yeah. Consumers, very emotional people during the transaction of the real estate process. Just curious, how many of you bought your own home while you were in the home inspection business? Good process. Okay? Were you the same business person you were as if you were on a stranger's job when you were buying your own home? Or were you a little different? Now, I've been in the real estate business 36 years, and I'll never claim to know it all. We bought our last home 8, 9, 10 years, almost 9 years ago. That was a hot mess. I made mistakes. I made bad decisions. I was thinking of more of my family and kids than logic. I was fighting with attorneys, and I would never have done that with a transaction. So you have to understand, you're during an emotional process. So when people are emotional, how do you follow up and say thank you? What's that one little thing you do that makes that person go, wow, that was really cool? And I'm not saying spend a boatload of money. What I'm saying is, it could be a simple little thing. The little thank you note, the little text message, the little thing that shows gratitude because you want more of it. The nurture part is getting even scarier in today's world because people have systems that nurture. The word nurture gets really vague, but I think the word to focus on is valuable. Well, and I hear all the time, well, Jeff, we have a newsletter that goes out, it's got a lot of value in it, people love it. Okay, and I go, what's it about? Well, we tell about all our home inspection stuff, and this, and pictures of the roof, and pictures of... Awesome. I probably would read it, no disrespect, but it's not helping me any. Think about it. How many of you get something from your own, I don't know, financial advisor, different people, that you look at as digital junk mail? Yeah. Digital junk mail is rampant. Do you get digital junk mail, anybody? Digital junk mail? All day, right? The people sending it think, oh my God, it's the most valuable thing ever. They're going to love it. When I ask real estate agents, this is a fun one, because they have automations and triggers and campaigns, and some of it might be okay. I'm not saying it's bad. It's part of the system. So when I ask an agent or a loan officer or a title, I say, listen, what are you sending them? I say, oh, well, these real estate ideas, or how to, clean your gutters and time to, change your clocks and all this crap. I'm like, I wouldn't open it. I even ask this question. If you were the customer on the other end of your email, and you were receiving your own stuff, how many would open it and find value in it? And hands all go down. I wouldn't. Then why are you sending this? What are we doing? Your own stuff, you're saying you would open it yourself and see value. So if you think of your customer, no matter who it is, whether it's a commercial client, or whether it's a residential or a consumer, what would they find value in? What do they really want to know about? It doesn't always have to be about your services either. It's about keeping relationships and branding in front of them. Right? Like, think about this for a second. In general, does anybody get emails from some place you actually enjoy getting? Like, what's it from? You can think of an idea? Where are you getting email from that you actually enjoy getting?
My hobby stuff.
Your hobby stuff, right? So it's something about something you're interested in. Now, while we can't hit all hobby stuff in general, but if I was, let's say, a home inspector, and I found that there was a common theme of what people like to do in my area, or places to go, or things that were cool in my town, who says I shouldn't send that out? Compliments of me, the home inspector, because I don't have to sell you more on home inspection. You know what I do. Send me things that are going to be of interest to me. I have this one client that actually finally got it, and they started sending me certain things. Now, sometimes all clients that are not sending all things to the same people. Sometimes in CRMs and in databases, you could put people in different buckets. Like, this is my client base that does this. I have one guy that sends me stuff on kids' sports. I coach kids lacrosse. I coach kids football. Anytime he sees a cool thing about this, I'm part of that little email. I'll open it all the time. I'm interested. And it's from a financial person. Not telling me about the rates or financing and how much my IRA is doing or not. He's sending me something of interest. Because if he keeps my interest, I see his brand all the time, and I'm thankful they sent it. So we've got to rethink our value content of what we're nurturing with, or are we annoying? Because sometimes it could be annoying. Digital junk mail, right? Asking for the referral offer, somewhere down the lane, you have to re-ask for business. They will forget about you. And there should be some kind of an offer, like just simply genuinely asking, hey, I'm looking to expand my business. We're looking to always find new clients. Who do you know that might be looking to purchase a home? Because if you find that consumer, you could also introduce to that real estate agent, which gets that real estate agent to love you even more. So it's a two-way street. And then last, I always believe in trying to do something special to get people together to build community, is events. Cover events this afternoon at 3 o'clock, but something to get real connection with people. Because here's a term I hear a lot, and I want to kind of swipe it away here. I hear a lot like, oh, I'm working with my past clients, or I'm calling my past clients. Anybody have past clients in the room? Why are they still past? Where did they go? Like, if you are a patient in a doctor's office, you got your checkup, your blood work done, you're kind of good, thank God you're healthy, you move on. The doctor doesn't go, that was one of my past clients now. You're just a patient forever. So a client should never be passed. They should be treated as always a client, because if you want referrals, they should be always in the system of finding new business for you, and almost an advocate for you. So we can't treat them like past. To me, it doesn't exist. Clients are clients. You're always there. I always want to help you. Just because you haven't given me business in 5 years, 10 years, doesn't mean you can't do it tomorrow. So let's treat people like they're always a client with that high level of respect, because that referral could come at any day. That's where we miss the point. That's where real estate agents miss, that's where loan officers miss, and that's where title agents miss. So I did a poll. And I knew some of these answers, but I wanted to get facts. And I just said, listen, give me the top 3 reasons why you would. Some of them are obvious answers, but I also wanted to see some of the details. Sometimes those little nuggets trigger, because we always think we do an excellent job. But then you ask somebody else, like, no, it wasn't that good. Okay, but so we always think we can't be the validator of our own business. So here are the top 3. Some of them very obvious. Price was number 3. Price. Now, price probably because they're always looking out for their clients. And of course, to me, you always have to, if you are a higher price than the other, you have to do a better job helping me understand why. Not because you just do more. Why? How are you going to make me feel? What's the value difference I'm getting? There's a lot of ways to work on that value problem. 2 is availability. Agents need it done. So that's a problem though. If you're not available, how do we handle that business or find someone that you don't miss that opportunity? Because remember, that one new client that comes into you, you might think I lost 1 sale. You might have lost 40 or 50. And that's the part we don't need. That one time they called to give you a shot, that could have turned into 50 new opportunities or more. We only see it as 1. And so, and I know availability is really tough in your world. You guys are out doing your job, you got people doing, like you're physically doing things, you can't be available all the time. But we need to find a system that gets better. Because those opportunities will create your growth. The ones that miss, they're going somewhere else. Number 1, communication and fear. Combination. I've heard some communicators out there. First of all, lack of communication. Can't get hold of anybody. I've called. No one's getting back to me. I just recently, scared real quick. I'm trying to get a plumber for my own house. I've called 3 top Google reviewed plumbers in my market, because the one I know retired and went south. Not 1 phone call back. It's 5 days. 5 days. I'm to the point of like, I don't know where to go. Why are they calling me back? Are they making too much money? Do they not need any more business? Like, what is going on? A phone call. And if that's okay, you're doing the plumbing, great. Hire somebody that can get back to me. I want to talk to somebody. I need a human to help me. I got water pouring out of my floor. I can't wait. Right? If you say your home inspection is booked 3 weeks out, real estate agent can't do that. But the fear part. Man, there's always a way to say something differently. I've heard people just scare the hell out of most people. And just by creating unknowns, it's, hey, you got some little termite stuff going on here. We can get a termite inspection done, but, I can't see everywhere. But for all I know, it could be anywhere in the house. Oh my God. Now I got termite. What do you mean? It could be up in the bed. It could be anywhere. Now, we don't know that. But I'm walking away going, oh, the house is all termites. We're screwed. We're done. We're out. So there's a way to say things with finesse, right? And we have a hard line to cross because they're looking to us for advice. And I'll tell you what got me the most, and it's really tough for you guys, but I want to share with you some of the comments that came out of it, is these were specific reasons, like they're giving me prices for repairs or recommending his own contractors to solicit them for work. It's happening, right? Hey, this termite thing is probably going to cost you $800 or $1,000. I got a guy that could do it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but this is sometimes what other people are frowning upon because maybe that guy really isn't going to get it done right. Maybe it's a friend of his. I know it happens. Just tread carefully. Telling my clients what items or repairs or what dollars to ask for to negotiate for. Oh, you should ask for $5,000 for this. At least $5,000. Really? $5,000? Back to the realtor, they're losing their minds. I'm never gonna refer that guy again. Like, what do you mean $5,000? It's only a $2,000. Like, it's sensitive issues. So I wanted to see these details. Obviously, the alarmist or rushing clients through inspection, not being thorough. I think if anything, a lot of us are typically over thorough. But you can't see everything. So those were interesting ones to me, especially the ones about giving dollar values, because negotiations in this market are really tough. So take that for what it's worth, but obviously if those are the top 3 things, we got to find ways to navigate around them, right? All right. I said this a few times, but I truly mean it. It's not what you say, it's not even how you say it. It's after you say it, how do you make them feel? Right? So you always want to think about when you're done saying it, or when you're done giving out your marketing, how did they feel? Did they feel warm and fuzzy? Did they feel like they're going to trust you? Or did they feel like, I don't even know what happened, he just walked to my door, dropped some flyers, I said, why should I use you? He gave me a coupon, and he left. Like a coupon isn't going to do it sometimes. Like, help me help you, is that mentality that has to happen. So it's really emotional, and when we talk about social media this afternoon a little bit too, everything is about emotion. 100% decision. People will buy truly based on emotion. That's the main reason they're making that decision. Emotion. Good emotion or bad emotion. Here's the fun one. Differentiator. We work hard to find people differentiation. And here's the best exercise I can do, and I won't be able to do the full exercise, but at least I want to share it with you. We take people and say, listen, if you took pick 3 of your competitors. You know who they are in your market, you probably heard them out there and about, you've probably seen their marketing. If you took 3 of your competitors and put them up here on the stage, and we said to them, hey, give me the top 3 reasons why I should hire you. Like, why should I hire your company versus your company? In general, and you guys can share a little bit of this, what do you think the top 3 or 4 things they're going to say? Why should I hire them? Okay, price. Give me some. Availability. What was that one? License and insured. License and insured. We're the best. Best service, right? I can get 9 things. I get all 9. Right? Write them all down. Write them all down. Now I'll say for your value proposition, I want you to come up with your value proposition and not use any of those words. That takes work. You got to really rethink. You're not going to use any of the words, because how are you different if that's what they're saying? So the value proposition becomes so unique, and sometimes, like, it's not about what you do, it's about the why, right? So we happen to be great at this, but we're focused on this. I'm a sales and marketing company that helps real estate agents, title, mortgage, and home inspectors grow and scale their business, right? It's not about what we do and all the stuff we have. So that value proposition, if you can't use those words, that's a really cool exercise. And it's a hard one. You really got to brainstorm creativity there. Now, I did put together a little spoof. I didn't put it together. I'm going to share it with you. So one of the title companies that we do a lot of work with, we've had, remember, title, no differentiation at all. We spent a lot of time getting their differentiator, but in the meantime, they wanted to create a fun spoofy video to show what every other title agent says, walks in the door, comes into my office, prospects with, that I think you would find a little entertaining. So I want to play that one. I'll play it right here for you. So it's a fun spoof. It's about 2017 they did it, but we've worked really hard since then.
Oh, hey, are you busy? Well, this will just take a second. Hold on real quick. Nobody has these pens. Our pens come in 2 colors. Eco-friendly ink. I brought you a calendar. I went ahead and highlighted my birthday for you. Our calendars have eco-friendly paper. You might not be looking forward to 2017, but we are. 7 days a week, 15 months, not your standard 12. We have the best service. How? It's just the greatest service. We are the LeBron James of service. We've got options, donuts and bagels. Oh, these are so good. Like, these are the best. These are awesome. You want to talk about experience. Our escrow officers are senior escrow officers. They're certified, experienced. I bought you a plant to symbolize our growth together. Hey, let's grab happy hour, maybe do a couple shots and talk business. Let's get wasted. Can you have one? These are so good. We are all about listening to our clients. Here, hold on, I gotta take this. Hello?
So when you really look at differentiation, you really face that all the time. And I'm shocked that still 90% of the people still have that approach. So we've spun a lot of the approach to really saying, listen, instead of talking about necessarily our core business, we only talk about it when they want to know more about it. But to get in the door, we have to lead with what they need the most help with first. So we truly create the scripts, and this is kind of like we're my own company partners with some of them. It says, listen, we're in the title business or whatever, we're a loan officer, we do that really well, but one thing I want to be able to help you with is, as a real estate agent, what if I could help you learn how to build more listing inventory? What if I could help you teach more social media that'll generate more business? Like, you get their attention. And you have to find that partner to be able to do that with, because guess what? If we can get in front of 10, 20, 30 people by bringing that value, that's real value that's going to help them, you get to build relationships, shake hands, then do what you do best when you got in the door, solving their problems. Right? So it's a roundabout way that works tremendously well. Let's see what goes here. So the second most important thing I think we need to have is the data, the value of data. And you know, it used to be most important to have their cell phone numbers and contact. It's important to talk to them. However, the most important piece of data I believe you need to have from a marketing standpoint is their personal email address. Personal. I say personal because with all of the marketing capabilities out there now with social media and online ads, and there's some people that probably do digital advertising, the number one way to target them, the same way you're being targeted, is by their personal email address. And at our 3 o'clock session, you'll say that we can target them by running a custom Facebook ad, so they're seeing just your stuff. Imagine that technology that makes it real simple, where if I just had a list of all my current clients, because we're all clients now, no past, right? All clients, and I can upload just that list into a system, and my ads will only be shown to them. Like, that's how personal advertising is working, because it's that email address that they're using for all their banking, all their online stuff, all their digital ads, all their social media, everything they log into. So having that. The second thing you need to have is a real good CRM, not just any CRM, that you can put people into buckets or channels. Because not all clients are going to be equal in how you want to market to them. So it gets a little specialized. But we'll have some ways on social media and some other ways we can get to them that we can get really tactical about later today. So having that data is super important, but having the ability to scale and flex it. Personal email address number one, that's how you're going to target anybody across the platforms. So I'll ask you this, when does the sale end? Never. Sale process never ends. Matter of fact, the one common thing I find when I'm talking to larger companies, if you have staff in the room, or if you have operations people, and you have customer care, and you have technicians, I'll say to them, how many of you are all a part of the sales process? And I'll see most of the sales and leadership raise their hand, but nothing else. And I said, what position do you have? She said, I'm an operations manager. And you're not part of the sales process? She's like, no, I'm operations. So let me help you here. You are all part. If you don't do your operational stuff well, and my experience goes to crap after you've done the work, I am not rehiring you to do this again. So the sales process is broken. So although you do a great job, if the failure happens behind the scenes or any time behind, what you look at is the frontline sales, you're not going to get that referral back. So everybody is part of the sales process, and we have to make sure that we're teaching, training, and coaching our teams. I don't care if it's the person who answers the phone to the person who's anything in a communication, even if they're the one sending the emails out. If you annoy me, I may not call you. But you don't know why. Because unfortunately, when sometimes people leave, they don't tell you why. They just leave. And they're never going to be truthful with you because they don't have the guts to tell you the truth. So I can tell you mostly why is something broke along the chain. Something broke. So the sales process never ends. We've got to make sure, and I think we lack a lot of our training and education to the people who don't operate the front lines. Right? That's something I think we need to dive deeper into so they understand what a customer sounds like, why they feel this way, if you answer it the wrong way, if you give it, it's not my job, whatever that communication looks like is going to be a problem. Because everything should be everybody's job until the problem gets solved. All right. How many of you were absolute BlackBerry fans back in the day? Remember Remember that thing? Does anybody still have one? Just curious. All right. Here's something really important as a message. I started off with being super proactive. I started off with making sure that understanding that sales and marketing is the #1 thing we should be focused on. And I know it's hard to hear because we all think it's about what we do. But BlackBerry was an amazing device. It was like the best. And I remember people, you know, like, I will never give this thing up. It's got a keyboard, and who's going to use those silly touchscreen things? And we never wanted to give up this device. They were truly #1 in the world in their market share. And then things changed. What changed? New technology happens. Not only did technology change with fun little touch screens and all this fun stuff, but then what happened is we became more of a visual type person. I wanted to be able to see more on my device. If you had a BlackBerry, do you remember trying to open up photos and trying to zoom in on a photo? It was like you were trying to zoom in from NASA to the moon. It just pixelated, it was clunky, but we didn't care. It had a keyboard. What did customers want? I want something more visual. I want something prettier. So here comes these devices, whether it's an Apple or Android, they make prettier devices. They were able to convince people to go to touchscreen. They were able to start to show video. Did you ever try and watch a video on a BlackBerry? Just as bad. But they say communication is most important. So they chose not to change because it always worked that way for them. That's the way it always was. To me, that's horror to my ears. Because the way it always was doesn't mean today. Here we go 10, 15 years later, maybe longer. Where's BlackBerry? They were from #1 to unfortunately almost gone. They're in some communication world somewhere, but almost non-existent. And the #1 reason is they didn't change. 2 reasons. They didn't change, and they didn't listen to what the customer wanted. They wanted better visual. We're in a visual economy right now. Everything needs to be visual. We're going to be talking about video later today. Like, you have to show things on video. I need 60-second clips from you guys. I need photos of what you're doing. You draw my attention based on visual content. Not that words are bad, but we're going to dive into visual content this afternoon. Like, it doesn't have to be fancy. I'm talking from your mobile device. Stuff that they chose not to pivot to. So visual content, we're in a visual world, we're in an emotional world. We have to learn that that's where sales and marketing has gone to. That's what we're going to pay attention to. All right, so that, I have 3 o'clock this afternoon, we're going to work on that. What I want to do is, I don't want you guys to be the BlackBerry. I really don't want you to think just because that's how we've always done it. I want you to really think about what right now do we need to fix, because I don't care, even if you're riding top of your market, is it ever really enough? Right? Is it ever, like, we always either, and even if I tell this to top producers, I'll say, listen, even if you're at the highest of your game, maybe you don't need more sales, but you might need more time. You might need some more time back. You might need better systems so it flows better. There's always a need for something that revolves around that process. So I don't care what part of the game you're in, you always have to continue to rethink, rework, and find better ways to do it to achieve what you want to do. Because I'll tell you what, something that hit me really hard, as we all get a little older in life, someone says to me, you know, we're listening to some real estate agents, and they're like, oh, I have to go to a home inspection today, I have to go do this, I have to go do that, I have to. Do you ever feel you have to do a lot of stuff? I have to do it. I want you to rethink it sometimes. A little brevity sometimes, maybe a little age shows. But I'm getting ready to jump on the plane to come to Tampa last night. People are like, oh, how's the airport? Chaotic. Of course it's chaotic. Welcome to our world. But man, you have to do that? I'm like, no, I get to do that. I get to do it. What do you mean? I get to do it. I'm fortunate enough to be able to do what I do for a living, because guess what? There's going to be a time in my life, in your life, that we're not going to have this opportunity to do what we do. So I get to do it. Have to do it is one thing. But remember, there's going to be a time we're never going to have it back. So I want you to be able to hit the levels of success you truly want, when you want it, so that you can eventually live the life you want beyond just working and grinding every day. People can scale to where you could actually take time to run your business more efficiently. So we choose to get what we do, not have to do it. And sometimes it puts a whole big, grateful world sometimes, because there's going to be a time I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm thrilled to do this. Yeah, does it work? Yeah, is it stressing? Of course. But I get to do it. There's going to be a day I can't, and I'll want it back. All right, so I want to give you guys copies of everything I have. My 3 o'clock has a lot more tactical nuggets for you, like truly going over social and video and content. But I have this QR code for you. Grab your phones, it'll give you the slide deck, it'll give you a digital business card, it'll give you everything you'd like. While you guys are scanning that, I did test it, it should work from the back of the room. We'll test our technology skills. Anybody want to take out their BlackBerry and take a scan of that? Anybody play no BlackBerries? I didn't see any BlackBerries or Palm Pilots with the pen, because that was pretty amazing too. Don't get a copy of that?
There's people in this room who don't know what a BlackBerry is.
That's true. That might be true. No BlackBerries. I'll refresh them. I still have a few in my home. I keep them. All right, so everyone got a good copy of that? Yes? Go back. Good. Good back. Good. All right, listen. I'm grateful to be here today. Thank you guys for having me. I'm looking forward to giving you more valuable content this afternoon. Thanks for having me. It's my pleasure. Let's get to work. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.